Hello and welcome to the BakuTalk news. I'm Haru. Now something interesting has popped up on Twitter recently, right after one single statement made by Bakugan managed to cause panic within the community, though hours after that post went up it was deleted. There were numerous Shields of Vestroia cards posted on Twitter. Now some we already saw or have because they came in the starter decks, but others we actually have not seen before. And with no actual news regarding release dates at this time, I thought it would be fun to go through some of these cards that we haven't seen so we can hype everyone up, make them see what we're missing out on, and maybe this will make Spin Master hear us when we say we want cards. And a warning, some of these cards are a bit blurry because of the image, so if I get something wrong, it's probably why. So brace yourselves as we are entering the spoiler room brawl in 3, 2, 1. So the first we're going to take a look at is the Darkus Aquos cards. We got Darkus Water Spiral, a 4-cost, choose a player to discard plus 100B and draw 1 for each card that was discarded this turn. So this for a 4-cost is able to not only give you some B power boost but also gives you a hand advantage while being detrimental to your opponent. That is pretty good. You can definitely combo this with other low-cost Darkus cards that make your opponent ditch cards to give yourself a pretty good hand advantage, but it is to be used with caution as it takes away your deck life total and the hand limit in this game is 7. Really, with it being a 4-cost, it balances it out. Sweeping Shockwave, a 5-cost plus 700 B power, and choose a player to discard 2 cards, so actually more boosting while making your opponent ditch. Though it is a bit expensive at the same level as Darkus Scion that also gives plus 700 B power for the exact same energy, the additional ditching cards ability makes it pretty worth it. Soul of Storms, a 3-cost plus 300 plus 3, return a non-energy card in play to owner's hand. So this could make your opponent return Baku Gear, Evo, or Hero cards back to their hand and make your opponent pay the energy cards again to get them back into play. Now granted, there may be some on-play effects that could happen, but it does still cause quite an annoyance. Spinning Waves, 5-cost plus 900 and Shadow Strike, plus 2 Frost Strike for each Fusion Bakugan on your team. This is a pretty generic fusion support card, but the plus 900 and Shadow Strike and Frost Strike is pretty good for a devastating attack. Moving on to the Chaos Pyrus cards, we got Baku Destabilizer, a 3-cost plus 700. Shuffle your hand into your deck, then draw that many cards. So essentially for a 3-cost you gain power and mulligan. That's not bad. A lot of the times you will get tons of Empower cards that you either can't use or don't want to use because you don't have Dan and Leah on the field to Empower for free. This card is pretty handy in getting your key pieces of the Empower engine out. Fusion War Charge, 4-cost plus 6 and 2 Frost Strike. I think we've seen this before, but it's Cynthia's writing on Pegatrix. What more can you say about it? That's awesome artwork. So we're going on to the Ventus Chaos cards. We got Prismatic Power Up, 4-cost, choose an opponent's Baku Gear and or Hero. Your opponent must energize them uncharged. So essentially in exchange for energy, you can remove key parts of your opponent's board from the field. 2 cards that could be used by your opponent just gone. That is pretty wild. Ventus Destroyer, a vanilla 5-cost, minus 15 damage. So alright, but vanilla. Baku Roll attaches 2 cores for 6, so it's practically 2 consorts in 1 card. Baku Fetch, 2-cost plus 4 draw, 1 for each Baku card. We've already seen that. Alright, moving on to the Pyrus Darkus. We have Energy Charge. 4-cost, your opponent may have this make a Pyrus Darkus burn for 4. If not, they destroy 2 energy cards. So this card gives your opponent the choice either burn 4 or lose 2 energy. This is pretty insane. This card should be renamed Painful Choice. Oh, wait, that's already a card. Being burned for 4 damage or losing 2 energy cards is a pretty hard choice. They risk losing a bunch of cards or flips early, or they get themselves a disadvantage by losing 2 energy. This is a wild card. The fact that this is only a 4-cost makes this way more disgusting. I probably want a few of these actually. So that's it for all the dual faction cards. Let's move on to the single factions. For Ventus, we already saw Shield Breaker that comes in the starter deck. Bakugan Overdrive comes in the starter deck, but Shield Charge is a 4-cost minus 700. Energize the top card for each fusion on your team. Wow, not bad, and they are energized cards since it doesn't say uncharged. That's pretty good. For Chaos, we got Baku Bear Claw. 6-cost, each player may fuse a Bakugan for free. Okay, so that could be useful in situations where you're not fighting a fusion Bakugan, but this still also benefits your opponent if they are playing fusions. I know I do. Righteous Strike is in the starter deck. Energy Funnel, 3-cost plus 600. If you use this on a fusion, you can re-roll it, so a decent re-roll card. Crushing Shadows, 1 cost plus 200 and 1 Frost Strike. Chaos Overkill, 3 costs plus 200 plus 300 for each fusion Bakugan on your team. Alright, a decent B power boost. Moving on to the Pyrus cards, we got Immolition Wave. 4 costs, this turn your Bakugan gets Victor plus 5 and energy cards used to play flips this turn is destroyed. Holy, so this card is heavy pressure. It could force your opponent to desperately try to win this particular fight, and if they take damage, they are forced into a scenario where if they use energy for a flip like Repel Outsiders or something, they would lose those energy. Not to mention, can you imagine if this was played very late game where the opponent would have to save themselves, otherwise game over? They would be forced into a very difficult situation where their resources would be so crippled that they can't launch a proper counterattack next turn. So this is a scary card. Burning Determination, 5 cost, turn one of your fusions face down to make Pyrus burn for that fusion cost. So essentially sacrifice a fusion Bakugan by diffusing it to get burn off, and this could be really good if you do so for a high cost fusion. I really only see this as a finisher and if you know you're winning the battle unopposed. Because right after the burn damage, you're gonna be left with 2 Bakugan that's not fused and they're gonna be very vulnerable because they potentially have low B power. So we go to the Aquos cards. Temporal Vision, 2 cost plus 5 sync, reveal a card in your hand that costs, I don't know what that says, for plus 2 Frost Strike. It's not bad. Baku Fusion Power, 1 cost plus 500. If you play this on a Fusion Bakugan, draw 1. Not bad. Baku Retreat, 3 cost plus 7. You may retract a Bakugan that did not open this turn. So this card essentially can help stall your opponent from a team attack. And finally, we move on to the Darkus cards. We got Diffusion Blast, a 1 cost. Each opposing player chooses one of their heroes and destroys it. This is a very cheap card. A hero destruction card for just 1 cost? That is pretty wicked. It's practically the hero destruction card Darkus really needed, since the only one worth running, which is Hero's Demise, is a 4 cost. Having a 1 cost one, while the catch is the opponent still chooses which one they sack, it's still very interesting and very much what Darkus really needs in terms of hero destruction. Darkus Power Kick, a 3 cost plus 600. You may defuse one of your Bakugan. This is one of those generic diffuser cards that will diffuse your Bakugan in order to recycle their on-fuse abilities. And finally, Darkus Vacation. Cost 5, take control of a hero. So finally, Darkus has an action card where we can take control of a hero at will instead of it being relegated to a flip. Shadow Breath was another card that took control of a hero, but since it's a flip, it's usually not worth running, so now we got an action card that can do the same thing, but we don't need to flip it to use it. Understandably, it costs 1 more to use, but you can use it anytime, so I can't complain. But let me know what your thoughts are about all these cards in the comments down below. And a reminder that a majority of you watching this video are not subscribed to this channel right now. So if you are genuinely enjoying the content that we do and you have made it to the end of this video, please consider subscribing, as that would support the channel, and enable notifications so you don't miss out on awesome Bakugan content. A new Amazon exclusive Unbox and Brawl pack is coming out soon, and also the 3rd wave of Geogons have been released. You can check that video by pressing the video to your left, as well as watching my review of Geogon Rising episode 21. I've been Haru Ren. Thank God for Rapid Fire. Bye.